So you're planning a trip to London or thinking about it and could use some very simple tips or key info to make it as close to perfect as possible, or perhaps some ideas of unique activities to help fill up your itinerary? Well, you've clicked on the right video. Right now, we're covering a few items to help you with that. But this video is just a quick overview to ensure that you've got some critical basics. Otherwise, it could drag on for hours. And I've narrowed it down to 10 just to get you started. We've done this stuff and can say that being very well prepared made all the difference on our trip here. So I'm sharing our experiences here to help you make your trip phenomenal as well. Hey y'all, it's Scott, the Basic American Dad Abroad. And this is part of our London 101 series playlist, which is a collection of bite-sized videos on the subjects that you need to know to have a good foundation for a fantastic time in London. There are so many things to see and do here that we can't possibly cover it all. Of course, a lot will depend on how many days that you'll have and the particular activities that you don't want to miss. Because this is really more about you building your top list than mine. I'm only giving you food for thought and some insight on things that you may need. In our subsequent videos, we'll be going into a lot more detail on itinerary building, taking this list of attractions and much more and turning it into an ergonomic framework that you can use. Those are in our London 101 playlist, so be sure to hit that up. But in this video, I'll be very briefly touching on some key sites that you may want to check out. So now, in no particular order for this video, let's get right into it. Number 1, a boat ride up the Thames and hop off for anything that interests you on the countless and fascinating sites that line the river. I covered transportation, including boating, in our previous video of this London 101 playlist, so be sure to check that out. But now we're applying that to a self-guided tour of unique attractions all along the river. So many markets, parks, the HMS Belfast, Tower Bridge, Tower of London, and countless other places to see and experience. You can take in so many quintessential sites and use the river to see them all. Number 2, the British Museum is a true gem of the world where tens of thousands of artifacts and art pieces chronicling literally the history of mankind are all in one world-class facility for you to feast your eyes upon. With a little preparation, you can easily game plan a chronological walk through time and so much more. You'll want to budget at least 2 to 3 hours for this, but you'll probably feel overwhelmed somewhere along the way. So if you have a longer visit to London, it would be wise to take this mammoth task in bite-sized pieces over different days. And by the way, entry is free, so there's no disincentive to do this. Number 3, the Victoria area, including Buckingham Palace and the mall's many sites. Once again, there are so many interesting and historical places within a short walk here. So I could ramble on and list all the sites, but you'd be better served by zooming in on a Google map and making a list that suits your preferences. I'll just add that if you're considering a tour of Buckingham Palace, be sure to check their website for info and dates, because that is not available most of the year. And I'll include a link to a video in the description below by a British historian that I follow. Mark Felton and his wife recently went on this tour, and his review in the link below may be useful to your decision making. This area is easily accessed via the Victoria Station and has plenty to see and do. Number 4, if you fancy a bike ride, by all means go for it. There are plenty dedicated bike lanes all around the city, and car drivers are relatively respectful of bikers. But if you find that to be a scary prospect, then consider starting with an easier ride around a relaxed and beautiful non-motorized place such as Hyde Park. It's also accessible from the mall and Buckingham Palace, which has dedicated bike lanes around there as well. Again, biking in general was covered in our transportation video, but now we're applying that to where. Number 5, take in a traditional English breakfast or afternoon tea. There are countless places to do this, of course, but if you're already in the area we've been talking about, mere steps from Victoria Station or Buckingham Palace, we thoroughly enjoyed multiple experiences at the English Rose. And I'll include a link in the description for that as well. The staff is so friendly, the meal is scrumptious, the decor is lovely, the whole experience time and again was perfect. For a classic English afternoon tea experience, the story behind it, and some additional venues, I'll defer once more to Jess from Love in London. So another link in the description below will lead you to an excellent video she has done on this. So be sure to check that out. On that subject, I want to turn it over to my daughter Christina for a minute, because in this London 101 series, she's given you some uniquely British words and meanings. And one of those is a key difference that will really help you here.
Thanks, Dad, and hello everyone. In each of our London videos, I would like to teach you some local words or phrases that you may hear or use during your stay in England. This time on the subjects of breakfast and afternoon tea. Although they look like American biscuits, British scones are not the same. The ingredients and baking process are a bit different, and scones are a bit more rich and dense and usually served with jam and clotted cream. In the UK, biscuits refer to what Americans usually call cookies. In the US, a biscuit is a type of bread with a firm crust and soft middle, while an American cookie is a type of dessert. Because if you understand, and even speak if you like, a few of the local words such as this, and words or phrases that I teach you in our other videos, the effort, along with a smile, will really be appreciated over there. I hope this helps you have a wonderful trip. Cheerio, and back to you, Dad.
Many thanks, Christina. Number 6 is a 3-for-1 with museums at South Kensington. Natural History, Science, and Victoria and Albert. The Natural History Museum is yet another world-class experience, and you'll certainly feel overwhelmed there after a few hours. So once again, if you've got many days in town, it would be good to break up the different sections into bite-sized pieces. Right next to that is a science museum, and my daughter Christina, who recently wrapped up an undergrad degree in biology, really got into this place. And then nearby is the Victoria and Albert Museum, another first-class experience full of art and artifacts that will leave you stunned. Number 7, Camden area has a really cool college town vibe with so many eclectic places to grab a pint or a bite to eat. It sits along Regents Canal, which is a fun walk and sightseeing the unique and colorful houseboats along the waterway. And before you get there, you'll find an unmistakable 2-story Chinese architecture boat that is actually a restaurant. Feng Shang, and again I'll include a link in the description below, is off the beaten path, so it's really non-touristic for a dining experience that you'll always fondly remember. Number 8. If you're a history nerd like me, and you find yourself around Soho or Chinatown, as you should because there are so many interesting sights in those smaller areas alone, after you finish, head over to Trafalgar Square and walk up Whitehall towards Westminster on a self-guided history tour. There is so much history on and just off this street. The Admiralty buildings, Whitehall, the Horse Guard, Downing Street, National War monuments, not only on the street, but also a block over on the river is the Victoria Embankment Park with poignant memorials as well. New Scotland Yard, and quite a view along the river as you work your way towards Westminster. By the way, if you're getting something out of this video, please consider hitting the like button. It lets me know that you do, plus helps others find it as well. And thanks a bunch for doing that. So we ended up right by number 9, the Westminster area. Of course, there's Westminster Palace as the seat of Parliament and the centuries of events at this place. Across the street is Westminster Abbey with over 1,000 years of rich history and countless stories. All around here are statues and markers to take it in. I could go on, but we'll move along now to number 10, the London Eye. Back past Big Ben and a short walk across Westminster Bridge, you'll land at a carnival atmosphere park with fun snacks if you're feeling a little peckish. The crown jewel here, of course, is the London Eye, and it would be cool to do anytime, but if you can swing it, then it's truly stunning at sunset. I'll be going into detail in our itinerary videos with plenty tips on how to hit these sorts of things just right. And that will include making sure that you're at the top of the eye right as the sun sets, just as we were. It's the best of the best, and I know that you want that too. And there are some necessary but little known procedures for that, so stay tuned for the inside scoop. All right, that's just some London top sites, right quick for now. And I suppose that was way more than 10, since several places have multiple attractions. Back home here in Louisiana's Cajun country, we call that lagniappe. So I hope you enjoyed all the extras. But for much more, be sure to check out our London 101 series by clicking the playlist that'll pop up in just a few seconds. Again, itinerary building will be covered extensively in subsequent videos of the playlist. I really hope that this helps you and your family have a wonderful time in London as we have, and that you go back home with no regrets or missed opportunities, but rather with the most incredible experiences and memories because you researched and planned it very well. And thank you for letting me help you with that. I would love to hear what you have planned for your upcoming trip, or perhaps what you've learned from previous trips. Or do you have any important additional tips that I didn't cover, or anything to add to my brief overviews here? Please help us and others by telling us all in a comment below. This video is purposely not exhaustive, and many additional subjects are covered in the other videos of this playlist. So be sure to check out those other videos going into much more detail to help you prep. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again in London real soon.